top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me something new. Time to break it loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Dover, Delaware, home to the Dover International Speedway, a speedway that has held home to USAC, IRL, NASCAR, and tonight, the North American Sim Racing Association invades on Miles the Monster's home turf. Hello and welcome, race fans, back to LSRTV, your home for sim racing since 2012. In the booth tonight, I'm Brandon Kreutz, along with co-commentator John Mustian and Charles Wooten downstairs in the production trailer. And John, we're back at Miles the Monster's home turf here, and well, last time we were working together, we were right here in the same spot.
Well, you know what? I'm not complaining, brother, because you know me. I'm a fan of this track. I love Dover, Brandon. It has always been one of my favorite sim racing tracks, all the way back to NASCAR racing season, the very first one. So I love Dover. It doesn't love me back, though. You mentioned Monster, Miles the Monster. That dude's got a collection of my cars dating back about 15 years now.
Yeah, he'll reach out and grab you there at the last moment. Of course, a lot of banking on this racetrack, John, and you know, it'll bite you even down the straightaways. You know, that drop off coming out of the banking is so crucial to get off there and get off of there straight. Otherwise, you're going for a ride right to the inside concrete.
Absolutely, and they've been calling this a self-cleaning track for years. I think the first time I heard somebody say that, it was Benny Parsons. And what that means, folks, is when there's an accident, doesn't matter where it's at on the track, if it's up high, if it's in the middle of the track, in the back stretch, the front stretch, the turns, the cars are all going to wind up coming down eventually to the inside of the track, to the inside wall. So we saw that with that big wreck. I'm sure you remember, Brandon. I remember what year it was. It was 15, maybe 16. I can't remember. Jimmy Johnson missed a shift on the front stretch on the restart. It took out half the front of the field. Yeah, you know, and he was outside, but he wound up inside.
And you know, there isn't a lot of room for you to move if there is something to happen right in front of you, and you know, that's where it comes to bite you. But these guys are ready to go at it, and you know, the speeds here at this racetrack are also incredibly fast for just a mile-long racing surface around this place. So it should get really interesting here as we saw the last time we were here.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you mentioned speed. When you're down there on that track, Brandon, it feels like you're doing 250, 300 going down to those turns. you are hitting 160, I believe, 165 going down in the turns, but it's such a narrow track, and you're so close to your competitors that it feels so much faster. And you mentioned the turns, the drop off into the turns, and then coming out of the turns. That's where a lot of the problems happen for these guys, is on exit of the turn, because the car, as it comes up out of that turn, it's literally coming up a hill onto the back stretch or front stretch, and that causes the car to unload its downforce, basically, and that gets those guys out of shape so fast. So I'm thinking that our what do they call that, calamity corners, are probably going to be the exit of 2 and exit of 4.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you that banking is such a drop off. 24 degrees of banking around this place, and 9 degrees even down the straightaway. So this place is bound to cause something. But that just testifies for the skill of these drivers here as well. It's not always about the carnage. It's really about how these guys are able to drive it. And these guys that are really fast here, it takes a lot to be fast around this place, as I like to say, the concrete jungle. And that definitely proves something for everybody here tonight.
Oh yes, absolutely. If you can finish this race, or let me excuse me, a race on this track, I don't care what car you're driving, with no damage, you've done something, man. I don't care if you're first or 15th or 25th. If you've done it with all the corners on the car and the front and the back end looking smiley, nice and shiny, you've really accomplished something here at Dover.
Some fun facts about the Dover National Speedway: can seat 95,000 people around this place, and broke ground in 1966, opened in 1969, built by Melvin Joseph, a name that I'm familiar with. He built the Georgetown Speedway just about a half hour away from this place in Georgetown, Delaware. And it's another racetrack that I work at in real life, a dirt track right down the road. And yeah, this has been around for quite some time. This racetrack has since the late 60s. So a lot of some of these guys have a lot of experience on this place in the iRacing sim. So they're ready to test that out here tonight as we're about to head into qualifying.
Yeah, qualifying should be very entertaining, Brandon. We'll get to see what these guys can do by themselves and in this car, and I look forward to watching some good times laid down.
These guys just finishing up practice times now, and we get set to move in here. We get 10 minutes to turn a good lap here, John, and well, kind of expecting the same thing as last time, I believe, but some of these guys, especially in this next-gen car, have been turning some bad fast lap times around this mile-long racetrack.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can get around this track pretty quick. I don't know, I don't know what these guys prefer as far as their line, but I've actually driven the next-gen car. To be honest with you, on Dover, I don't think I have anyway. I might have. I don't remember. This is what happens, Brandon, when you hit 52. Your brain decides, hey, it's 7 o'clock. We're done, dude. Have a good day. So, I don't even know where I was going with that conversation, man.
But, I'm a little out of the game tonight myself, too. I'm not going to lie to you. But, we're going to make it work, and that's what we do here at LSRTV, is we make it work.
Absolutely. We got that guy down in the truck to keep us in line, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, he tries, too. He says not really, but he'll try to. See what kind of lap time Adam can turn here, and 22.65.
I was going to say, Newbert's looking really fast
right now.
Yeah. Wow. That's a 1 mile track, guys. 1 mile. He just did it in 22.6 seconds. That's all in the mail right there.
Hard enough to keep your cars under control here on cold tires, but these guys doing a fantastic job all around. Lap number 2 going to be just a little bit slower, 22.657.
I got to... Derek Fulton is on track right now in the 8 car. And if I understand my producer correctly, he's going to be joining us up in the booth after this race for the next broadcast. Did I get that right, Cody? Y'all can't see her, but my beautiful wife just stepped in the booth.
LSRTV.
All right, so he puts down
for Derek.
Yeah, that was a real good lap right there. I mean, stop and think about that. They're doing almost 3 miles a minute. Can you imagine that? It's just crazy, man.
That's insanely fast. I wish I could do that on a day-to-day basis, but I don't think that that'd be very
Yeah,
legal.
our police frown down on that also here.
Ow, 22.424
Ow.
for Jose Rivera. 22.424. That'll put him runner-up at this moment.
These are some gorgeous looking cars, Brandon. You're a painter like I am. Do you really pay attention to the detail on these cars like I do when you're doing the broadcast?
Yeah, it's funny enough. I was talking to our beloved producer before this race, and was pointing out some of these awesome paint schemes, and you know, these guys do a really fantastic job keeping these things looking sharp every week, and you know, shout out to them and their rap artists.
Yeah, they look fantastic. You know what I love most about sim racing, Brandon, and being able to design our own cars is a lot of these guys can actually use their personal companies or somebody they work with to put the name on the car, and on these broadcasts get those folks some advertising, just like in the real world. And you know, we talked about that last night. There's a lot of these guys that I don't know about this particular group, but in Sim 500, they carry the logos of their actual companies that they work for or the companies that they own and operate. I love that aspect about sim racing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cool deal, and you know, great exposure for some of these guys as well. And John, I just want to point out to you, fastest time on the board so far for qualifying, Derek Fulton. You're in a 22.39 for Derek Fulton, and he did take quick time, holding that position right now by a few tenths at this moment. So really good, or a few thousandths rather. So really good time for him up on top.
That's
at
a fact.
14 drivers here.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be our last qualifier. And I think Kilgore, Brandon, I can't tell, but does he have some damage? Yeah, I think he's got some right front damage there on that car already.
Yeah, he may have tapped the wall out on one of his prior laps, but you know, nothing too bad. They're replacing 10 on that thing before we get ready to go green flag racing.
It's definitely going to affect this time, though. Oh, there's the Beretta car. Oh, I remember him. I love the sound of these next-gen cars, Brandon. Have you had a chance to take them for a drive yet?
I have, and you know, something different about this car from the previous gen for the NASCAR side of things is that that dual side exhaust that they have coming out either side. You really get that rumble no matter where you are, and man, it just makes these things sound so sharp.
It really does. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Riding on board with Justin Michael now.
In these things.
He just downshifted, didn't he?
You can see too. It is possible 5-speed sequential transmission in these. I don't know if you'll see much downshifting, but it is definitely possible. Maybe at tracks such as Phoenix or something like that. I don't expect to see it at all here tonight. But yeah, something that is different. 5-speed sequential transmissions in these, and oof, yeah, is that you and I had the same reaction there. You can see just how much the car either pushes or gets a little bit squirrely there at cornered exit as we were riding along there with Justin Michael, and just hopping off of that banking, the car sinks on you. And when it sinks, it's going to do one of either, is either push up towards the wall or get really loose there on corner exit. So it takes a lot of wheeling and dealing to get these things around this clay jungle, the concrete jungle.
Clay jungle. Hey, we got a few of those down here in the south also. Hey, you know, you were speaking of the exit of the corner of these cars. I was just thinking they had a great explanation / display of this. I want to say it was on maybe TNT years ago, and they had a computer animation that showed it when the car comes up out of the corner at 2 and 4 on this track. The weight of the car on the track actually decreases by almost 30%, they said, right? So absolutely, it's like a roller coaster, basically. You know, when your roller coaster is going up really fast and then it drops down and you get that kind of a weightless feeling. And that's where the problems
Oh, yeah.
come in for these guys. Is it's basically taking away the grip these cars have, and it allows that car to start to slide out towards the wall. And I wish I could remember where I saw that at, because that would be so cool to maybe show in today's world that it's still the same case 20, 25 years later. That they haven't conquered how to keep these cars glued to the track on exit at Dover. Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's
ain't
kind of what
kidding.
we're talking about.
We know exactly what happened to that other car that had that little bit of damage there on that side. Just tagged the wall a little bit, and Ford Mustang GT is going to need a little bit of work before we go green flag racing.
Yes, he is. And I mean, you might get away with that in qualifying, but you want to try and keep the damage minimal during the race, I would think, anyway, right?
Yeah, a mile-long track, but this track really doesn't drive like a mile-long track. Such high banking, such high speeds all the way around this place. You want to try to keep your aerodynamics as intact as you can, because, if you buckle up the hood or you pull the fender out just a little bit, it's going to act like a parachute on this thing, and you're really going to be dragging off a lot of speed.
Absolutely. I could not have said it any better there, Brandon. And driving a parachute at Dover ain't no fun. Oh, that's a good-looking car right there. Jake Roll, the 9 car. I like that car. It's kind of got an old Earnhardt Wrangler feel to it with the front end, the way it's striped, But the stripes go in the opposite direction, With the old Wrangler car, they were pointed towards the nose.
I believe that is modeled after a Chase Elliott car that he ran a couple of times last year.
Okay. That's a damn good-looking race car, man. I like that.
It is a sharp-looking car, and going to see what he can do this time around. 22.283. That's going to be your quick time of the night with 30 seconds left in qualifying.
You know what that was, man? That was probably him and Jake talking to each other in communication there, and him and Derek talking to each other in TeamSpeak, and then he was like, "Here, hold my beer, watch this." Derek had the pole time the whole time during qualifying there, and then Roll comes down at the very end of qualifying and says, "Here, watch this."
By 2/10 nonetheless, two whole tenths of a second.
Man,
he got him, and that's
crazy.
Impressive for how close these cars
really
race.
Impressive.
But that's going to be it, and these guys are going to grid up. We're going to run through our LSRTV starting lineup. Starting on pole, row number 1, it's going to be car number 9, Jake Roll. Outside front row, Derek Fulton in car number 8. Row 2, starting on the inside, it's going to be Justin Michael. Starting outside row 2, it's going to be Jose Rivera. Stephen Luau is going to be starting inside of row 3. To his outside, it's going to be Justin Scruggs. Row number 4, starting on the inside, it's going to be Max Steck. It's going to be starting inside row number 4. Outside, it's going to be Nicholas Sacco. Row number 5, it's going to be on the inside, Ryan Zucom. Starting his outside is going to be Adam Newberg. John?
Row 6 is going to be Nathan Mon in the 21 car, and Derek Kilgore on his outside in the 7 car. Row 7 sees Hunter Parsons in the 01 on the inside, Nathan Roger in the 91 on the outside of him, in position 14. Row number 8, Hale and Charlie on the lineup here is going to be Raul Mason, the 37 car, bringing up the back. But look for Raul to probably make his way up sometime in the race and be battling for the lead probably by halfway.
15, the Steel Machines of Power, ready to take the green flag here tonight. The North American Sim Racing Association is just about ready to rumble.
I was kind of jamming that music, man. I like that music.
Yeah, it's really kind of gets you hyped up, huh?
It does, man. That's some hype music right there, man.
These guys just about ready to roll off a grid here in a few minutes and or a few seconds rather, and they're just going to be about ready to roll. And look at well, about 3/4 of a pace lap around. The pace car should be pulling in this time, I believe.
Stack them up 2 by 2 here, Brandon, and get ready to see some excellent action here at Dover, the Monster Mile. I love this track. Have I mentioned that I love this track?
These guys just about ready to roll. Jake Roll going to be starting on the inside. Outside is going to be Derek Fulton. That's going to make up your front row. Ladies and gentlemen, tighten your belts down. Hang on to your wigs. The stars and cars of NASRA are ready to rumble. These guys ready to hit the gas and go fast. And green flag is in the air.
Great start by Roll there, Brandon. I mean, look at that. He's got a... Oh, wow. The 97 washed up hard right there. Rivera did.
Yeah, Roll out to an early lead here, and Fulton actually fell back to third on the outside there off of that initial start, so that's going to leave Justin Michael up there in that second position. These guys get a single out here fairly quickly, and they're going to have a freight train on their hands back behind your leader.
Oh yeah, this is going to be the norm right here, I think, for probably the first half of the race. These guys are going to want to stay single file, maybe, just kind of get a feel. Oh, we got a spill in the backstretch. Big wreck.
One car upside down. Car number 7 upside down. Oh boy, that's going to be Derek Kilgore back there. And he is miraculously able to roll that thing.
Up from the floor up.
On that. Colts Poppers instant replay here live on LSRTV. We're going to see exactly what happened. That started up just a little ways, I believe, maybe with the 6. Or I guess the 4 of Newbert up there. And that's exactly what happened. Oh, coming off the banking, he got a little bit squirrely there, and there was 2 cars behind him, nowhere to go. And
wow.
Kilgore decided he wanted to do a kickflip off the inside wall, and he'll land back at all 4s.
Wow. You know, you said earlier that the Miles of Monster likes to reach out and slap people sometimes. That's exactly what that looked like right there. Like an invisible head came out.
It really didn't. It didn't take much, did it, John? And you know, that's the thing with Dover is you got to be really, really careful, especially on cold tires. We had mentioned before here the larger surface area of this next-gen car with the tires, but cold tires, man, they don't like to grip up, especially on this concrete surface. And you saw there, just towards the back of the pack, there was a little bit of carnage early here out of this 150-lap race.
Yeah, it was just a case of somebody losing a little bit of control there on exit, like we said, on exit of turn. These cars, that is where they have the least amount of grip and the least amount of control, folks, especially at speed. And that's a case of somebody got loose, and unfortunately, the folks behind him paid for it. And we saw the 7 car just destroyed. I mean, there's no other word for it. He's got no front end, he's got no back end, and no fast repair, like our producer just pointed out. So his choice is basically you're at lap 4 of 150, get in the pits, let the pit crew do their thing, and hope the car lasts the rest of the race, basically.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's all you can do. Very unfortunate, but I think that's going to be Derek Kilgore's, you know, I think that's going to end his night early, only 3 laps into this 150-lap race. So very unfortunate for him, but his car was not in good shape whatsoever.
Oh, no, not at all. And, I mean, I feel bad for Newbert as well. You know, he just got a little loose, you know. I mean, it's not like he did anything wrong. It's just you touched on this. These cold tires have almost 0 grip until probably lap 6 or 7. And that's under green flag conditions, you know. Lap 2, you know, you just kind of be gentle with your throttle and let the car settle before you make any erratic maneuvers. But we're going to stack them up here, B, and try this one more time.
Stacked up, doubled up ready to go. Green flag racing once again. The iRacing official pace car is going to make its way into the safety lane, this time by out of turn 4. You see the field 2x2. Jay Roll still going to be on your inside front row. The outside did change up a little bit. Justin Michael going to be starting his outside. We'll see if they'll be able to keep up. Chevy and Toyota going to be starting up front. Pace car makes its way in. Waiting on the 9 car to make the first move. He's on the throttle. Green flag is back in the air.
Green flag is waving hard right there, and I tell you what, Roll makes no bones about it. He's going to get out there as far as he can from the rest of the pack. And the good news is this ain't like Talladega or Homestead or Daytona or something like that. He can get a nice cushion between himself and the rest of the pack, and he'll be able to keep it because they're not going to be able to draft up to him in the short amount of time between the exit of one turn and the entrance of another one. So all he has to do right now is focus on getting into these corners, Brandon, getting down to that line, keeping control of that car, and getting ready for that upheaval right here as he comes up out of turn.
Yeah, absolutely right. And, well, you know, even if this thing does go green, I expect at least 1 round of pit stops here tonight, if not 2. So these guys are going to want to try to save their stuff as best as they can early on as well.
Well, to the best of my memory, if my memory isn't failing me once again, we're looking at a pit window with this car on Dover somewhere between 53 and 58 laps, I think. Tire fall off is going to be about a second and a half. So yeah, I'm with you. I think more than likely at least 2 stops.
These guys, again, they don't want to change their stuff. Tire wear shouldn't be a huge issue, but of course, that concrete does like to chew through these Goodyear tires. So something that we are going to have to watch out for as well as this race goes on. And hopefully we'll end up with a good green flag run, and hopefully I didn't just give it the commentators first.
That's okay. Between you and me, I'm sure we'll get that commentator's curse taken care of tonight. Ask Cody. I had a great night last night with that one.
Riding on board with Stephen Llewellyn right now. He's currently riding back there in the 5th, and you can see, look at the car jump right here, and you can even watch the car in front of him, and that's going to be Max Deck in front of him. And watch on quarter exit here. Watch these race cars just jump right off that banking and just gets upset a little bit. Really got to wheel these things around this place.
Oh, absolutely. This is a driver's track. That's a term I've come to know and love so much. You know, a lot of tracks, Brandon, you can just mash the gas and go, and the car will do the rest. Tracks like, you know, Michigan, Daytona, Talladega, they're really big tracks. But tracks like Dover, Miami Homestead, Richmond, it's a driver's track. The driver's got to tell that car where to go and convince it to obey him, you know. And that's the fun part about this. I love the way these cars drive, man. These are some of my favorite cars on the service now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this current package is only pushing 550 horsepower, at least at this moment, which, you know, subject to change as the NASCAR season gets into gear. But these cars in the current package, I think, only producing about 550 horsepower. But you know, on the bigger tracks, that's not a whole lot. But here, you still need to wheel it, especially as your tires start to wear, or on cold tires at that. You really need to be careful, you know, minimal wheel inputs if you can, and just watch your throttle there on corner entrance and exit. As you see the 29 making a move underneath car 24, and he's going to make it stick there. That's going to be Nick Rosaka.
Yep,
oh, wrecking a big wreck,
Oh,
upside down,
wow.
going into turn 1, barrel roll into turn 1. Big time carnage once again. Second car upside down on his roof.
Wow.
Oh man. Go back to the Pulse Poppers replay.
Right
Wrong
after.
place, wrong time.
Yeah. Right after the 29 made his move down to the inside here, Brandon, that's when things went bad. That car right there behind them, the 11 car, tried to do the same thing on exit, and it just didn't work. Yeah.
He just catapulted off of that car in a big-time barrel roll.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord.
Get ready to get dizzy
Folks,
here,
close your
folks. We're
eyes if
riding
you get
on
motion
board
sickness.
with
This ain't going to be pretty.
Meza took a wild ride down there into turn 1, and hang on to your hats, because this one's going to be a doozy.
And he had nowhere to go, Brandon. This happened so fast on this track because these guys are going so fast.
He tried to power through it, and he got stuck between the wall and him, and it catapulted off the front ends, and I'm getting dizzy just watching it. He's going to have to take a ride to the virtual infield care center here at Dover, and that's going to be another few race cars out of this event.
And that's really unfortunate. We had a small car count to begin with, unfortunately, and I just hate to see that because, I mean, once the racing gets going here at Dover, man, it is so fun to watch. And that was just really unfortunate. He had nowhere to go at that point. And we touched on this earlier. It's a mile track, folks, okay? And it happens really fast. These guys are probably doing upwards of 160 as they approach the entrance and exits of the turns. And I'm sorry, Brandon, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah,
I heard that we lost somebody.
I think our producer went down to talk to somebody, but
okay.
yeah, our producer decided to go and talk to a couple of people, so he's good now. But
made me a little nervous. I don't want to be by myself.
That's a really good point. Everything happened so quick here, and all it took was that little error. He came off the bank, he pushed up just a little bit, and that sent them both down to the inside wall. And of course, the safer barrier caused the virtual safer barrier kind of, did what it did, and got one car back up the racetrack and nowhere to go for a couple other race cars, especially Raul Meza.
Yeah, I feel bad for Raul. Yeah, he's probably trying to figure out where he's at right now. That was a bad ride. I mean, it's not funny. I hate that he's out of the race already, but man, I mean, there was absolutely nothing he could do, Brandon.
Yeah, the iRacing safety crew scooped him up and took him to the virtual infield care center here at Dover, and
scooped him up. That's a bad
really
choice of words,
already.
my friend.
Well.
I mean, he wasn't.
Oh man. Anyways, nine cars left, I think now, but these guys going to do the best that they can to put on a little bit of a show. It just shows how quick things happen here. 18 laps in of a 150-lap race, and these guys getting ready to get back at it once again.
Yeah, and I meant to touch on this earlier, but it's been my experience, and folks, I'm not the best driver, not even close. I'm probably like lower 1%, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I've learned at Dover, making a pass, if you're going to make the pass, the best place to do it is start halfway down either the front stretch or the back stretch and take your run down to the inside and make the pass in the turn. Because coming off the turn, your car is going to wash up. You don't have a choice. It's either that or you're going to input too much steering wheel and lose control of the car. So either way, making a pass on the exit of turn is not ideal. And that's kind of what we saw right there, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. You really got to kind of wait it out and play the game here at Dover. It is really hard to gain track position, but the field's stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back green flag racing. The iRacing official pace car ducks down into the safety of the infield this time. It's going to be Jake Roll, going to be your command car once again. He's on the throttle, and green flag is back in the air.
And another great start by Roll in that 9 car. And like I said, that's his plan. He can control the race. He can control when he leads, and he wants to get as big a cushion as he can between himself and second on back. In the meantime, we got a fight right here for third. Looks like Sacco wants to take that away from Max Deck, but I don't think he's going to have the momentum. Max is going to drift up a little bit, kind of diamond that curve a little bit. Ooh, brush that wall just a hair on exit, but he's going to keep it straight.
A little bit of a strike down the side of his race car that time. No harm, no foul. He's going to duck back in, and he's going to continue riding back there in, I believe, the 4th position. And Well, looks like we may have a little bit of a fight for the lead up there. John starting to form.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Justin Michael was all over the back bumper of Roll. I think he's got ideas here, Brandon, to take the lead away sometime the next couple of laps.
Oh, apologize there for the slight audio issues, but yeah, a battle for the lead is starting to form. I think these guys are pretty content on riding just for the moment. Justin Michael kind of just following in his tire tracks at this moment, but I think this is something that we're going to have to watch as the run starts to progress.
Does this sound a little bit better for you there, Producer Charles? All right. Sorry about that, B. I don't know what I did. You know, I'm sure it was my fault.
No, all is good as long as you're good. I don't want to be here alone either. So, looks like a battle for third starting to form now. Looks like Sacco going to try to make a move to the inside. He gets a little bit loose there, corner exit. He's going to manage to make it a drag race down into one.
And that's how you want to do a pass right there, folks. You want to start it as soon as you can, coming off of exit of one corner. Oh, yeah. Boy, Max was able to save that car. That could have been catastrophic,
yeah, big time save. Absolutely, could have been catastrophic. And these guys all managed to gather it back up, something that's not an easy feat here at the Dover National Speedway, but everybody managed to get it done and gather it back up, and they managed to keep racing and keep on keeping on.
Hey, look at that. Mr. Newbert's back out on track, 15 laps down, but he was involved in the first incident we had tonight there, Brandon, and he's just going to get out there and try and salvage as many points as he can.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what you have to do in situations like this. You know, especially when you're trying to look at the overall pictures. These guys are only in their second week of racing, so, you know, these guys, everybody looking at the big picture right now and what they can possibly do to get themselves in championship contention.
Now here's how you do it, folks, right here. Fulton in the 8 car. Oh, he's going to wash up a little bit. Yeah. But he'll finish that pass on exit right there. Ideally, you want to have that pass.
Get it done.
Yeah, he did. He got lucky. Max saw it down there, and I think Max gave him a break and probably just checked up a little bit. But ideally, you want to have that pass almost completed as you enter the exit, the turn.
Absolutely. I really thought that they were going to make a little bit of contact there, but you know, these guys are doing a fantastic job. We own these things around here, and yeah, right now it's still early. You know, these guys are all just they got to have patience, and they all do. You know, sometimes it don't hurt just to ride around a little bit and play the game at a technical track such as Dover.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I'm with you there, Producer Charles. But anyway, I'm not going to repeat what he just said, but I was going to say something. Oh, you know, I was talking to a guy from Ryco Motorsports. These guys do a lot of work with setups and stuff like that and doing some testing. And there is, I don't know if iRacing did it on purpose, Brandon, or if it's just a lucky guess with the coding, the way they made the sim with the car package. But just like in real life, when you draw up on the back of a car in front of you, there's an air bubble that forms, right? Which is why you'll see it when these guys start to draw right up on the back of the car in front of them. It almost looks like the guy in front of them mashes the gas pedal and goes even faster. That's not the case. There's an air bubble, if you will. That's probably not the best way to explain it, but the closer you get to the back of that car, it's going to push that car. You don't even have to physically touch them now to push them ahead of you. So that's why it's so difficult to pass, is if you don't time it just right. Use that car to draft up on, but then get down from behind them so you don't start to push them out front. And it's just it's a game of timing, really, is what it is.
Yeah, that's a really good way to explain it. It's just a pocket there. It's, you know, sometimes it's really hard to do on certain racetracks because you tuck up behind somebody and it actually wants to physically push the front of the car out. So your car is going to get a little bit tight when you come right up behind somebody's bumper. You know, even at speeds such as Dover, where they're still hitting about 150, 160 miles an hour here. So, you know, it is enough. And the next gen, they added that rear
Oh,
diffuser onto the back. It did eliminate that issue as we see the 97 get real loose off of quarter number 4. That rear diffuser did solve a little bit of that problem, but these cars still notorious for dirty air right behind that spoiler, and that's what these guys try to get their nose into, just to, you know, this to push the car in front of them. I lost my train of thought there for a second, but yeah, to push that car in front of them. But at a track like this, it can kind of be hit or miss whether it helps you or hurts you.
exactly. And I don't know what happened to Justin Michael there, but he's lost 2 spots. He's dropped from 2nd place back to 4th now. Meantime, Musako Ducom, excuse me, up to 2nd and 3rd. Rolls now dropping back. Rolls losing the lead to Sako. Wow.
I do apologize for audio issues once again. He's trying to get it sorted out now. Oh. Sorry about those audio issues there once again, folks. I think he is starting to get it sorted out here. These guys all just kind of riding now, and these guys all just kind of riding around now, and yeah, everybody doing a good job here. And again, this is a waiting game, so I think if I remember, these guys should be able to go like 80 or so laps on a tank of fuel here. So, you know, still early in this run. So, and John, I know you had said like somewhere around 50 earlier. I think it ended up being around 86 to 90 laps that these guys could go on a tank of fuel here. So.
Okay, yeah, like I said,
It'll be interesting.
I wasn't I couldn't remember. I hadn't done the testing at this track. So I was really just guessing, to be honest.
I looked at my notes from last week when we were here, and that's what I had jotted down. So I'm pretty sure it's about 86 to 90 or so laps. So it'll be really interesting. And, well, throw that out the window. I was going to say pit strategy would get really interesting, but caution flag on the speedway. And, well, there's the commentator's curse we were talking about earlier.
Were they supposed to have a stage caution that we didn't know about? Because I don't see anything on track. I believe that's what we're at then, right? Okay. So that is still, like you said, Brandon, going to toss fuel mileage equations out the window. All they got to do is make it to the stage. And I believe they have, 3 sets of tires? 1 they started with and 2 in the pits now?
I believe so. I can't confirm that for sure, but that does sound about right. So, current leader, by the way, I lost my train of thought there for a little while amongst some of the audio issues. But car 29, Nicholas Sacco did overtake the lead. That'll do Jake Rowe back to the 2nd position. Ryan Ducom did make his way up to 3rd before that competition yellow. So these guys are all going to come down for some 4 fresh fuel goods and some fuel, top off the old gas tank, and they'll be ready to roll once again. And just make sure that you have a clean in, clean out for these pit stops, and you'll have yourself in good shape coming for the restart.
And our producers letting us know that
lap 80. Lap 40, lap 80 will be the stages here tonight. We're kind of just informed of this today, so our apologies for not having all the information squared away off the rip. It looks like the battle off of Pit Road will stick Jake Roll out front. Nicholas Sacco does fall back to 2nd, and Ryan Ducom will round out your top 3. He'll hold it in that 3rd position, starting on inside row 2. these guys get back stacked up, and just a couple of laps here, we'll be ready to roll once again. So one thing I have noticed so far, a couple of these guys might be a little bit better in the long run rather than the short run, and that all comes down to how you drive the car early in the run. If you're going hard right off the rip, you know, you're going to have issues with some tire management there towards the end of the run. But if you're one to kind of lay back a little bit, such as what we saw the 29 Machine Sacco do, he made his way all the way up to the front, and actually was still carrying pretty good speed and driving a consistent race towards the end of that run. So something to watch out for, you know, throughout each of these, and something that we'll really have to keep an eye out for the end of this race.
Yeah, he was probably just taking care of his tires for the first, 20, 25 laps there, and kind of showed his stuff at the end there. I might have given away a couple of secrets there. I mean, you know, now these guys are going to have in the back of their head that, you know, guys like Sacco and the other one, I don't remember who it was that snuck up in there on us, too calm, yeah. You know, they kind of laid back for a good while there and then made their way up front. And, I mean, Roll didn't even put up a fight for the lead there, Brandon. So it would be interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's still early, too. You know, you don't want to have an extravagant battle for the lead right off the rip this early in the race. You know, in order to finish first, you must first finish, is how the saying goes. So these guys are trying to keep their equipment together, and you know, they're stacked up and about ready to roll once again. So it'll be Jake Roll starting in the lead. Nicholas Sacco going to be starting to his outside this time. It'll be interesting to see if the outside can hold that second position. The last couple of restarts, we've seen that they've fallen back a couple of spots right off the rip. So it'll be interesting for sure. And John, go ahead and take him away for the restart.
Well, here we go. Brandon stacked up 2 by 2. On the inside of stellar leader Jake Roll, keeping that inside choice. Nick Sacco to his outside. Justin Michael and Ducom the next row. And then Derek Fulton and Jose Rivera in the third row behind them. As they come through 3 and 4, the pace car is going to duck down, folks. And shortly after that, they're going to be in the box and get that green flag. And I imagine Justin's going to do what he's been doing the last couple of restarts. He's going to just jump out as far as he can, as fast as he can. And there they go. Green flag is out. And once again, Roll gets a great start, as does the 55 down there. He's going to jump up to second, push Sacco back to third. You got Fulton and Justin Michael right out your top 5 there, Brandon.
Yeah, Ryan Ducom made his way up into the second position, and he's going to hang on to that for a little while. These guys all on fresh tires and cold tires at that now, so they're going to have to watch coming out of these corner exits just for a couple of laps here. Everybody kind of like a freight train, all single file, all the way around this Dover International Speedway for the moment, and riding right around the bottom of the racetrack. I know something that we saw early in the runs from last week, John, is these guys like to ride about a lane up. And one thing I'm noticing that your leaders are doing is they're riding right against that inside apron all the way around this place.
Yeah, I was looking at that also. I guess it's just, you know, at the moment with these new tires, it's where your car feels the most comfortable getting into and out of these corners. And, you know, I'm personally, like I said, I haven't driven the next gen car at Dover, but in the Cup car and the trucks and the Xfinity cars, I got a lot of laps at this track, a lot of victories. And I prefer about a lane up like the Justin Michael car is doing right there. And then just kind of diamond it down a little bit and let it roll on out. And wow, that was a risky move, but it's going to pay off for him. It's going to put him up to third. And it looks like the 8 of Fulton wants to try the same thing here. You see if he can squeeze a spot past Ducom in the 55. Ducom's fighting pretty hard on the outside there, Brandon, going down into 1.
Absolutely, he is. They're going to have a drag race this time down the bank straight away. And, you know, one thing I'm kind of noticing here so far is even the really small mistakes, it'll send these cars all the way up the racetrack. And that's something you really got to watch out for, is just keeping that small wheel input. The slightest overcorrection will send that car all the way up the banking. And you don't want to do that, especially if you got somebody above you.
Oh, exactly. And just like what just happened right there, that little wiggle out of both of those cars, and they both gained a little altitude there in the middle of the turns. But it looks like Fulton's going to finish that pass finally on Ducom. But Ducom's not going to give up the fight quite so easily. he had thoughts of coming back down the inside, maybe trying to get that spot back, but now he's falling back into the clutches of the 21 car? Yeah, 21 car. Mr. Man. I'm sure you say that last name. He's going to have his hands full with him. In the meantime, it looks like Justin Michaels is falling back now. Justin Michaels was up there on the front row for the restart, Brandon, but he's kind of, I don't know if he's just maybe taking it easy. He's letting these other aggressive guys go and use their stuff up, or what's going on there?
Yeah, he did fall back a little bit off the last restart. It does take a lot of discipline to drive these cars with ease as well, just because once the tires start to come in, they just want to grip up and go. But, you kind of just got to take a second and back off the throttle a little bit, save your tires for the end of the run. And, exactly what we were talking about earlier, it takes so much discipline to be able to do that, especially when you start to lose touch with the car in front of you. But it's something that has to be done if you want to have a good race all the way to the end.
Look at this fight for third right here between the 8 car of Fulton and the 87 of Justin Michael. A really good fight. In the meantime, it looks like the 29 of Sacco's come back up to just Jake Roll, up there for the lead. So we've got 4 cars under a blanket right here, and it's perking up to be a pretty good battle.
Yeah, he ducked down and he peeked to the inside there, was not able to make it stick. Roll did make a stick on the outside groove, and oh man, some risky, dodgy moves starting to happen here. I think a couple of these guys may be starting to get a little bit impatient with the guys in front of them, and this is where we start to see accidents happen. And especially here, we keep seeing it. These guys, the slightest overcorrection, they'll slide all the way up the banking, and that's what you want to try to avoid in a side-by-side race.
Well, this is exactly what you're talking about 5 laps ago. Once these tires start to come in, and we're about 12 laps now past green flag restart from our pit stops, these tires are aired up, the pressures are high now, the grip is at its max, so you're going to see these guys taking some risky moves, trying to take advantage of the grip while they've got it. And you know what? More power to them, man.
Yeah, and one thing, I think you're going to end up seeing Justin Michael kind of come back here later in this run. You see how he's fallen back there. Here he comes now. He fell back there off that restart, and one thing you really don't want to do is wear these tires out too early. Even these side-by-side battles are starting to hurt these guys just a little bit. You see the slower car letting these guys by to the inside. He should be able to keep it clean and green. But you see these side-by-side battles, you got to really crank that wheel off these corners to keep it from sliding up into your outside car, and that's what wears down, especially your right front. That's where you start to get the push later on in these runs, and that's where you'll start to see guys start to fall off.
Absolutely. Now, speaking from personal experience, one of my favorite wins at this track was in the A Series last year, I think, maybe, or year before last, and it was a very long green flag run, and I let probably good 9 or 10 cars pass me up between the start and the finish of the race, and eventually they all came back to me. So I'm a long run guy, and at Dover, that's a very good strategy to have. With this car, I have no idea if it'll work, to be honest with you. It looks like we got a mixture of aggression and patience out there right now, and you really couldn't tell who's doing what.
Yeah, something that I find really interesting is a couple of these guys is able to spread out a little bit. You see the mixture of lines being run here. All these guys still looking like they're trying to diamond it right off the corner, but you see some of these guys grinding a lane or 2 lanes up towards the top of the track, or maybe a little bit closer to the middle of the track, and diamonding off. They catch a lot of speed down these long straightaways.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the line that I've seen work the best for some of these guys is maybe a low to mid entry, let it drift up a little bit, mid to high to the middle, and then come back down low on exit. So when you come off the exit, you've got a lot of room to let the car drift up towards the wall. That seems to be the way to make it work. Now, what that's going to do for your right side tires, I don't know. It didn't seem to hurt them too much with the old package, but this new package is completely different, so we'll see how it works out. But if you watch guys like Roll, that's how they're doing it. They'll go in, watch his entry right here. His entry's, a little low to mid. He's going to let it drift up a little bit, and he's going to come back down right there on exit and let the car drift out towards the wall. So that seems to be a the preferred way pretty much with any car that I've driven here, and it seems to be working pretty good for our leader right now, Jake Roll.
Yeah, 3 cars chilling under a blanket up here. They broke away from kind of the main pack and formed their own little group. And these guys, I think, pretty comfortable just riding for the moment. But you know, it looks like these guys really carrying the speed that they want. How that's going to affect them later on in this run, I don't know. You know, but it'll be really interesting to watch. And it also makes me wonder, did those guys that were kind of trying to follow these guys use up their stuff too quick? Because now we're quite a few laps into this run, or just a few laps at that, as we see a side-by-side battle back there for the 5th position, or for the 4th position, rather. You know, those 3 cars broke away. Are they running their race maybe too quick, or did the guys behind them use up their stuff too quick?
See, I don't know. I was thinking the same thing, and I'm also trying to figure. I mean, we got a stage break coming up at lap 80, which is in 13 laps, 14 laps. And after that, it's going to be a straight run, if I'm not mistaken, all the way to the finish of the race. So that's a 70-lap run on the set of tires they're gonna have to put on this next pit stop. And so I'm not sure if these guys realize that, or maybe I'm just mistaken in the amount of tires they've got. But you're right. It looks like some of them might be just really taking it easy, even though we got a stage break coming up. So I don't know. It's mind-boggling, Brandon.
Yeah, but you know what? Especially with 2 stages here, these guys up front, they're all racing for the win. Even at this moment, they're going to try to set themselves up to race for a win at the end of this thing. The guys behind them, they're still kind of experimenting. You know, they're trying to see what works and what doesn't before they hit the final run and before they want to go for a win themselves. So the guys are riding, 4th on back. They may have pushed a little bit further, a little bit earlier in this run just to see what it's going to do for that last stage.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Roll knows what he's got, obviously. He's led the most laps so far tonight. Sacco, Fulton, our top 3, they know what they've got. They know where their car feels good at. So I think you're right. They've already set up. They've put themselves in a position to be battling for the win towards the end of this thing. And when you look back through the field and you watch the guys in the back of the field, you're right. Some of these guys go through the corners completely different from one end of the track to the other just about every lap, trying to figure out where their car is going to pick up the best speed at. So, here we are, lap 72, and it's still a guessing game for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I thought Justin Michael may have been catching these guys a little bit, and well, he is. Justin Michael is starting to catch these guys. This is what I was talking about earlier. Some of those guys that are lagging back are maybe saving their stuff, and we thought maybe they were pushed too hard. They fell back. It looks like Just was able to save some of his stuff, and now he's caught back up to this 3-car pack up towards the front of this thing, and now he knows what he has. So he may be in contention for this win as well, depending on what he does in the last stage.
Absolutely. I've also noticed that he's changed his line a little bit from the last 5 laps. He is really starting to mirror really what our leader, Jake Roll's doing. He'll go in, mid to low entry, let it drift up a little bit, and then arc you back down on the exit. And that seems to be paying off for him. He is definitely reeling these guys in. In the meantime, it also looks like maybe Sacco might want to try a bid for the lead before the end of the stage break here.
Yeah, he's going to peek to the inside. He's not going to quite stick his nose in there that time. And only now 5.5 laps left till we see the other yellow come out for the end of stage number 2. So these guys are going to be trying to set themselves up. We will have another round of pit stops, I'm sure, coming to the end of this stage. These guys trying to set themselves up for the best position that they can be in for the next restart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm wondering, when we do this pit stop, oh, wow. He is trying so hard to make that pass. God bless his little heart. But I completely forgot my train of thought. Oh, wow. Justin Michael just washed up. I'm not sure if he got into the wall or not, but I don't think you could have put a piece of paper between him and his car and the wall. That was close.
Yeah, close call at that. Maybe a little bit of a strike down the side of that thing now, but no harm, no foul, especially here at the concrete jungle, and these guys got to keep battling it out. You see Nicholas Sacco back there just trying to ride. He's going to try to peek to the inside again, and I don't know if he's actually trying to make that pass, but he wants to make his appearance and let him know that he can be in contention for this win come the final stage at least.
Oh yeah, he's letting Roland know that he's not out here by himself. You know, he's definitely got 2 cars behind him. One of them, the 29 car Sacco. Oh, look at this! There he goes. He's going to try and make the pass. He'd steal that stage win away from him.
See if he can make a stick. Roll's going to try to diamond it off. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between those 2 cars near contact made, and that's going to make Colton your new second placement. Looked like Sacco had to back off just a bit, and that little bit of the blurp of the throttle was enough to let Derek Colton by.
Yeah, and right now he's probably not really happy with himself. I think he committed to that a little too soon. Showed his car where he was going to go there. That gave Roll a chance to set his car up for a nice roll through the middle top of that corner and maintain momentum enough to keep the lead on exit. So you got to, like I said earlier, you got to be careful where you do your passes at here. And that's going to be lap 80 right there. And I think we should see a caution come out. There it is, right there.
There it is. The caution flag flies on the speedway once again, end of stage number 2. These guys are going to stack them back up behind the iRacing official pace car and get ready for pit stops once again. These guys going to ride, and I do expect these guys to come down, catch some more fresh fuel goods once again, top it off for fuel, and possibly, very, very possibly, the last pit stop of the race.
You know, I wish there was a telemetry that we announcers could get that shows us the tire wear of a specific car. I would love to know what these tires look like on, you know, our leader and maybe the top 5, see what their tire wear looks like. That'd be so nice.
Yeah, one thing
Mr.
I'm kind of impressed with.
Why don't you wave your magic wand and find that?
One thing I'm kind of impressed with is Justin Michael was able to fall back. He fell back so far, and he saved his stuff. He managed to get back up to the lead, or back up to leaders rather, and you know, still riding in 4th after a little bit of a near miss with the outside wall, but he was able to get back up and get himself back in contention. I think that's what these guys are going to have to think about going into the final run, is you don't want to push too hard too early.
Absolutely. And I think he's given notice there to these guys up front that, you know, they might be able to stretch their lead out a little bit, but if he takes care of his stuff, he'll be able to catch right back up to him. And we're going to have a much longer run this time. If this thing stays green, Brandon, we're going to go from lap, maybe 86 when they go back to green all the way to lap 150. That's 64 laps under green. So it should be real fun to watch.
Absolutely, and as pit stops conclude, we're going to go away to a quick commercial break. You're watching NASRA live at LSRTV. We'll catch you in a minute.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the community radio network at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the North American Sim Racing Association here live on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. Lights out up on top of the iRacing official pace car. We'll get the field stacked up, doubled up, ready to go back green flag racing for what should be the final stint of the night. So these guys just about ready to rumble once again. Inside front row is going to be Jake Roll. Nicholas Sacco holding that position there to the outside. Derek folding up the third. Max Steck making his way up to that fourth position amongst pit stops. So should be a good show here, especially racing within up around top 4, top 5. I think should be a good show here. 10 cars ready to go back green flag racing. Calamity early in this race is taking a lot of our drivers out early, but these guys have been putting on a good show nonetheless. So pace car ready to duck down into the safety of pit lane this time. Your command car going to be Jake Rolls is going to be your command car here once again. Coming out of 4, he's on the throttle. Green flag is back in the air.
Green flag is back in the air indeed, and already right off the bat we got some challenges for positions up there. Justin Michael is looking to take away the third spot from Mr. Fulton, and he does move. Sorry, he was 5th, moving up to 4th. And that's going to put Max Steck back to 5th there, Brandon. And just like every restart we've seen so far, the leader gets out to a pretty good cushion right there, rolls out about a 4 or 5 car length cushion. But I don't think it's going to last very long. I think these guys will really back in pretty quick.
Yeah, this is kind of where you want to try to gain your traction if you can and gain a couple of positions, because this is going to be the easiest time to make your passes and possibly gain an advantage. We see a little bit of a battle back here. I believe that's for the 8th position. But, these guys really going to try to fight, especially mid-tag to around the back of the pack here off of this restart. And this is going to be the best opportunity to gain the most positions in one sweep.
Yeah, that's Max Ducom. Sorry, that's Ducom taking 5th away from Max Steck in the 05, and Steck's got the 91 of Roger right behind him also. I'm not sure what Max has got going on. Maybe he's just letting his tires heat up, saving it for this long run, but he's lost 2 or 3 spots now since the restart of this race, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and possibly give up 1 more spot. And that's not a bad thing to do, Brandon. I mean, this is a long run we got ahead of us, 60 laps. So, give up a couple of spots, let these guys go by, use their stuff up, and then just reel them back in here in about 20 laps.
Yeah, this is going to end up being the longest stint that we have of the night. So we had 2 40-lappers for stages 1 and 2. And, that's where you wanted to play and see what your car's going to do. Now you're getting into the final stint of this thing, and, you're really going to have to save your tires here early and make sure that you have enough rubber underneath you to get the job done at the end.
Yeah, and I'm sure these guys have been paying attention to their tire condition these last couple of runs that they came in, especially that last stage that we had stage break for. They probably took a peek at their tire wear and said, okay, well, I drove pretty hard for this amount of laps, so that's not too bad or whatever. Or they might look at it and say, oh, I might need to take it easy here for a few laps. So, that's always a good way to kind of judge what you need to do for a long run there. And we see the 7 car back on track. Boy, he went for a wild ride there, Brandon, earlier in this race.
Yeah, he did. They put a couple of the panels back on that thing, but that thing's still looking like a modified out here running with these Cup cars. But
didn't they used to run
points back as we were talking about earlier. You're from that area, right? I don't know, to be honest with you. I am not, so I don't know, to be honest with you. But
okay.
That'd be an interesting show, I think. I know Bristol.
Man,
they
I would
have.
love to see modifieds at Dover. Could you imagine? Oh my
The
goodness.
speeds there would be absolutely insane. But yeah, no, these guys all doing a fantastic job right now. Everybody riding, kind of what I expected here is, everybody just trying to save their stuff here and figure out what they got for the end of this.
And we look at Justin Michael right now. Even though it looks like he's fallen back, that's what he did last time, Brandon. You pointed this out. He fell back. He gave up some spots that last time. Right now, he's just falling back. But he's just taking his own pace right now, which is what you've got to do, especially at Dover with this concrete monster, man. Just find your own pace, lay back, do what you got to do to take care of your car. If you get past, you get past. You'll reel those guys back in. I'm telling you, I've done it so many times here. Just what you do is you find where your car runs the best and you chill. Ooh, wow. Max almost got in the wall right there. I don't know how he didn't spin that car, man. Wow.
Yeah, close call, but sometimes that's what it takes to carry your speed here around this place. It's just some getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. Try to push the machine a little bit harder than what you think it might go, and sometimes it'll surprise you, and you can make it stick. We see three cars
absolutely.
under a blanket once again as Rolls Taco and Fulton all the way up there in the top three as well, and kind of what I expected from Justin Michael. He's going to fall back early in this run. I do expect him to be able to make his way back up towards the end of this stint.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's what he did that last stage run. He was testing the water to see how that was going to work out for him. And I'm pretty sure he liked what he saw. So I would not be surprised. I mean, we've only been back to green now for, 14 laps? Yeah. So about 14 laps, somewhere in there. And, give him another maybe 14 more laps, 15 laps, and we'll see him start inching back towards those guys.
Yeah, these guys all just riding for the moment. I don't expect anybody to try to push the limits until maybe getting closer to 20 to go. So, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, I've been taken by surprise before. It wouldn't be the first time I've said something that they've done the total opposite of. But almost like they're trying to listen in,
Oh, I'm telling you, that's a common occurrence, man. These drivers love making the announcers look like dummies. Well, that 21 car looks great. We hadn't talked much about the 21 car. That car is piloted by Nathan Mann, I'm not really sure to say that, but he's dodged a couple bullets tonight, Brandon, and he finds himself up there inside the top 10, running 8th right now, not too far behind the 91.
Yeah, not bad. And you see a little bit of front end damage on that race machine there, but doing a fantastic job staying in it. And I'm sure the front end of that thing acting more like a parachute right now, so he's not able to carry the same speed as, or not able to run as fast quite as everybody else is, but doing a fantastic job nonetheless.
We see Max Steck here falling back into the clutches of the 91 one more time. Yeah, Max has been struggling, it seems like to me, Brandon, with this track today. I don't know, maybe it's his plan, but he just seems like he's been really having a hard time finding a good fast pace with his car. Whoa! Engage stealth maneuvers.
Yeah, we said earlier, this is really a driver's track, and some drivers just don't have good luck. This track drives so different from anywhere else that you're going to go. Some people just struggle here, and unless you race on this a lot, it is really hard to be faster.
Oh, look at this move by the 29 car. He's really chomping at the bit here to try and get past Jake Roll up there in the 9 car. He's doing everything he can. He'll get right up on his bumper. But we covered that earlier, just the way the aerodynamics work on these cars. The closer you get to that car in front of you, the worse your car is going to handle. And he's just trying everything he can to get Roll to mess up, maybe give him the lead. I can hear him. Just give him the lead, man. Let me lead this thing.
You saw there just a couple of corners would go. He took right up against the bumper of that 9 car, and it kind of just shoved his front end right up the racetrack. And that's something you really got to watch out for. When you tuck underneath, there's a pocket of air right there, and it's going to want to shove your nose straight up the racetrack. It doesn't like sitting in that little bubble. So something to watch out for, and something that these guys have to be wary of on the racetrack.
Oh, absolutely. Aero tight is no fun at all. And, you know, if he's not real careful, I mean, he's going to wind up burning that right front off of this car. You got a lap car up on the outside there. That's going to make things a little tight on exit. Woo, man.
These guys making it work, and now Sacco's going to go to the outside and try to catch some clean air on his nose this time around. And here comes Derek Fulton. We got a little bit of the battle starting to heat up. You see, these guys starting to get racy now. That allowed Justin Michael to catch up himself as well.
Yeah, that was a great move by the 29. Didn't quite pan out the way he wanted it to, but I think he's getting the idea. He needs to try and keep his nose clean, have that clean air as long as he can until he has to pull down behind and maybe shoot to the inside to get that pass. But he definitely wants this lead, Brandon. There is no doubt in my mind at all. Sacco is tired of looking at the back end of that 9 car.
Yeah, this is where it takes a lot of discipline, though, to ride behind somebody like this until it's a good time to make the pass. You see, Derek Fulton's got a car underneath him now.
Third?
Derek Fulton's got a car underneath him now. Here comes Justin Michael, and they're reeling in. Ducom's managed to reel these guys in. Everybody's starting to get a little bit racy here. I'm a little bit worried that they might be getting racy a little bit too early into this run, but I guess we'll have to find out. We're not behind the wheel of this thing, right?
Hey, man, you know what? This is making it a better show for us up here in the booth. But you called it. There's Justin Michael right about the time we thought he'd be peeking it up here, making his way back up. Oh, wow, look how out of shape 29 got. But he does not lift at all. He keeps his pedal in the floorboard and doesn't lose hardly any ground at all to the leader. In the meantime, on the outside, you've got the 8 car, Fulton. He wants to get in on this action. And here comes Justin Michael down. He's going to pass 2 cars, Brandon, going into 3.
New race leader and the new second placeman. Sacco manages to take the lead, and Justin Michael manages to grab second away. And look at where your leader was. He fell all the way back to 5th.
From 1st to 5th in a half a lap. That is not what you want to see happen. And now Roll's got to decide, what does he want to do? Does he want to let his tires cool off a little bit and maybe save something for the last 20 laps of this race? Does he want to get back up there and fight with these guys? In the meantime, back up front, Sacco's got the lead. Justin Michael passed 2 cars in one corner, moved himself up to 2nd place right there, Brandon. And I think he's got his eyes on that lead.
Watch out for that 8-7 in the rear view mirror, as Justin Michael may have something to say here. Look at Derek Fulton still lurking back there as well. And you see the gold nose in the front of that number 8 car. And that's going to be one to watch out for as well. And I think Jake Roll, he either used up his stuff or he's letting his stuff ride just for the moment, try to cool his stuff down. But he fell all the way back to 5th, and he's falling back like a rock at the moment.
Hey, another thing to keep in mind was he's not used to dirty air either. He's been out front the whole race, so now he's got to learn how to drive that car. But I can't help but wonder if maybe he didn't get some damage of some sort that we didn't notice him getting the wall, because he's dropping like a rock. He's already a second behind this lead pack.
Well, I think the biggest thing here and what he may be doing, it could be one of 2 things. These guys got really close together, so he may have been holding these guys up just a little bit and doing a really good job at being racy and just holding that lead. Or now he's trying to cool the stuff off. He knows that he's still got quite a few laps left in this run for what it is, so he may be trying to cool off those tires as well.
It might be it. I don't know, but he's definitely losing a lot of ground, this lead pack. In the meantime, speaking of the lead pack, they're not backing off at all. You see this car, the 55 car of Ducom right there. He's all over that number 8 of Fulton. He's thinking about maybe taking a challenge for the 3rd place right there. In the meantime, right in front of those 2 guys, you got Justin Michael in that 87 car. He's just kind of sitting there, biding his time, measuring up Sacco, Brandon, measuring up for a pass for that lead here in a little bit.
Yeah, we know that Justin Michael is fast, and he's proven that point now as he passed 2 cars in one sweep there, just a few laps to go to get himself up in contention for this win. One car hard on the outside wall. That's Derek Fulton up on the outside wall. We stay green.
Fulton
but Derek Fullen, he was a contender for the win. He got hard up to the outside and stayed for a barrier, and I think that's going to do it for him and ruin his chances at a good race.
Yeah, he's still rolling, but that was as hard a hit as you can get and not wreck. And I think he's probably off power. Yeah, that car sounds pretty rough.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. He definitely rattled that car up quite a bit there. Hard contact with the outside concrete. That's going to do him in for the ninth. But we still got a 3-car battle up towards the front of this thing, and we'll see Sacco up there in the lead. Justin Michael back there in second. These guys are just lurking on your leader at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder if Roll got a piece of that, because that was right in front of him. And he's already lost another second, these top 3. So our leader, Jake Roll, who's the leader for most of this race, Brandon, has fallen down some hard times here. In the meantime, it looks like Justin Michael might be thinking of taking a shot at that lead here shortly.
He's trying to look, but remember, we still have well over 25 laps left of this race. And wow, your leader got pretty loose up there out of turn 4, so that's going to put the race lead in the hands of Justin Michael. And now you have 3 cars under a blanket.
3 cars under a blanket indeed, and that was the mistake that Justin Michael was looking for. Made his job a little bit easier getting that lead away from him. And now he's got that clean air we've been talking about all night on the nose of that number 87 Toyota, the Beretta Camry, excuse me. How would I get that out there eventually?
Yeah, doing a fantastic job, and now you see him starting to pull away from these 2 guys just a bit. And I think it's going to come down to a race for second just for the moment. Nicholas Sacco may be trying to cool off his stuff just a tad here and try to go back at it in a few laps. Again, 26 laps left of this race here so far. So these guys still do have plenty of time.
Absolutely plenty of time. And I'm pretty sure that got his attention, that little wiggle. There's nothing like a wiggle like that coming up off the corner to really wake you up at this track that we call the Monster Mile here in Dover, Delaware. So he's probably kind of still catches his breath a little bit. So right now it's Justin Michael out front. You got the heavy breathing, scared out of his pants, Nicholas Sacco in second, Ryan Ducombe in third. Jake Roll still hanging on back there, Brandon in fourth, and Nathan Roger is your fifth. And I don't know, we got 25 laps left, buddy, and it's about to come down to it.
Yeah, this just kind of proves what I had said earlier, though. This concrete really likes to eat away at this rubber, and if you're not patient enough, we saw Justin Michael fall pretty far back, away from these top 3, and he was patient, and he left the stuff so that way he wasn't overheating his tires, he wasn't using up too much rubber, and he managed to reel them back in once they started to get racy. And I think what the leaders did is they all burned their stuff up. Justin Michael was patient, he saved his tires, and now he's leading this race.
And not only is he leading, but if you look, he has got a half a second lead just about over those next 2 guys, and just steadily increasing it. He's got clean air, he's got a good steady pace, very consistent with his entries and exits on corner, and that's what's going to take to maintain this lead and win this race. And he's only got to do it for another 22 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys getting a little bit racy back here for second. I think they've come to realize that Justin Michael may end up pulling away with this thing. So now trying to gain one more spot is Ryan Ducombe to the inside. He's got a nose in there and not going to make it happen that time out of 2.
Yeah, he's trying, though. And that is exactly what Justin Michael, the leader, wants to see in his mirrors. These 2 guys duking it out, wearing their tires down even more, so he doesn't have to worry about them here in a few laps, 15, 16 laps. And, man, look at that. He is really stretching that lead out there, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I wouldn't really be surprised if Nicholas Sacco was able to close that gap, but 20 to go, it's going to be tough, especially when you got somebody trying to race you for that position.
Actually, exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. It's not so much he needs to try and reel in the leader, but he's also got to fight off Ducon back there in the 55 car, who's looking pretty stout. I mean, let's give him a hand. Let's give him some credit where credit is due. He has hung out here in the top 5 all night, stayed out of trouble, stayed off the wall, kept his car clean, and he's right there now fighting for second place. I don't know, Brandon, that these two guys have anything for Justin Michael. I really don't. But, 18 laps to go. I guess we'll find out here soon enough, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely we will. And these guys sitting about 0.5 of a second back from your race leader, and that gap has not closed any since they have fallen back. They haven't really lost a whole lot in the last couple of laps, but they haven't gained. So, these guys kind of leads me to believe that they may still have some left, but I don't know if it's going to be enough this late in the race.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. And I mean, really, it's a guessing. Let's just be honest. It's a guessing game, Brandon. We're not down there. We don't have our hands on the steering wheel, so we don't know what's left in these cars. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that by now, Justin Michael is well aware of how his car is going to handle it. He saved his tires and worked his way up to that lead, and I'm pretty sure these two behind him understand that they're losing ground. It's already 0.7 of a second from Sacco up to Michael, and I think they're going to be probably selling for what they got right now.
Yeah, it makes it tough for up here for us too, because I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar with this car yet. Throw everything that we said out the window. Caution on the speedway. Caution flag flies. We're gonna have a dash at the end of this thing, and oh boy, that was your former race leader, Jake Roll, gonna be bringing out the caution here for I believe the 4th or 5th time tonight. That's gonna be all by himself. Cutting down, assume probably half and going into 3. That car got a little bit upset going down. Oh, man. Car got upset, and everybody else able to avoid, but that's going to be enough to bring out the 5th caution of the night. He was having a really good race, and yeah, exactly what happened was it looked like the car just got upset off the bank and carried it all the way down the straightaway, and as soon as he hit that little bit of an increase in the banking going into the next corner, the car was still upset and sent him right up the racetrack.
Sure, yeah, that sounds plausible. Yeah, we'll go with that. I mean, I that was the weirdest thing. I'm literally not even lying. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But this stops are underway, and this is the money stop right here, my man, because they're going to come back to green with about 10 to go, and you don't want to mess up on pit road and wind up, losing the whole shabab or a mistake off pit road. And I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Justin Michael gets his 4 tires, and I don't think he needed fuel, but he probably did some anyway. So it looks like there's really not a whole lot of change up front, with the exception of the 9 car Jake Roll will no longer be in 5th place. He'll be lucky if he gets back out at all. Man, that was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen, man. Not gonna lie.
And you know what? All that stuff that we've been saying all this time about saving your tires and being patient, you can throw all that out the window now. We're going to have about a 10-lap dash for the race win, and I think it's going to come down to probably 3 cars here at the end.
And there's nothing gentlemanly about
road.
I don't think there's going to be anything gentlemanly about what we're about to see either. There will be no saving. There will be no give and take. There will be all take. Oh, my goodness. The only thing that I think Justin Michaels has going for him right now is is he going to be the control car? Who's that in front of him? It's a lap car. Okay. He'll be the control car on the restart. So he gets to go when he wants to. And what that's going to do is that's going to give him a cushion between second and everybody else, and they'll be fighting and duking out positions. So his best hope is that they don't wreck each other, but they do occupy each other for the next 9 to 10 laps, and just and leave him out of it.
That's the plan anyway.
I was in might be cracking
So-
open a case of motor oil and dumping it out the window, but that's just me.
So Justin Michael did end up winning the race off of pit road there, and Nicholas Sacco comes out second. Look at Nathan Roje up into that third position with Nathan Mon back behind him. So Ryan Zucom, he lost a few spots there on pit road. He fell back from third to fifth. So gonna have to watch out for him as well. As let's go out on top of the iRacing official pace car. They're gonna get stacked up, doubled up, and ready to go racing once again.
Oh boy, this is gonna be fun, man. But it's a little nerve wracking as well. And Jake Rawls is not out of it. I mean, he's back there somewhere, I believe in 6th or 7th. But I think his competitiveness is done for sure. I'm interested. This is a very interesting lane choice for me. We haven't seen this all night long, but Justin Michaels has chosen the outside line, Brandon. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a good strategy, and I think it's going to work really well for him and get him a really good entrance into turn one as long as he gets a good jump off of this restart. So, really interesting strategy for sure, but I think it's a good one, and I think it's one that he can make work as these guys are rolling down through. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hang on to your hats. We're going to have a dash, 10-lap dash for the race win. A pace car ducks down into the safety of pit lane this time. He's on the throttle. Green flag is back in the air.
And that is exactly what you said you wanted to do. Get that jump, get down there, pick his line into one, make it work for him, make it stick really good, and give himself a buffer between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and on back. In the meantime, though,
One car around down the back straightaway. One car around. We stay green.
And we're staying green. Was it roll again? Oh, no.
Yeah,
Gosh,
it
his
was.
night has
Everybody
just gone from
manages
bad
to
to
get it
worse.
straightened back out. Everybody got it straightened back out. We stay green. Those cars are not going to be there by the time the field hits the back straightaway. Everybody good, and we still have a battle going on back there for second, but Justin Michael has pulled away with this thing out front.
Oh, absolutely. He's got himself almost a half a second lead already, and he doesn't have to worry about saving tires now. We know his car is fast. We know it can handle. He's got clean air, so it's really his race to lose right now. Meantime, back there, Sacco has his hands full with Roman. Oh, we got another car spinning off the turn two.
This time it will bring out a yellow.
Out. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Come on, boys. Come on.
Single car incident,
That's
I do believe,
car.
coming off of turn 2. That's going to be Nathan Roje, and I believe that was a single car incident. We'll see this time, but although he did have a car around him, and we'll let the cameras tell the story here. You see they came into turn 1 side by side, battling back here, and coming off of 2.
Oh, no.
That's where it was. Contact up into the outside wall, and that's where the caution flew right there. So there was contact. He did have assistance going up into the outside concrete, and quite hard contact at that.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, man. We covered that all laps and laps and laps ago. You and I, Brandon, we talked about how difficult it is to pass here, the preferred areas to make a pass, and how you really want to have that pass done before you get to the 3/4 mark of a turn. And, we got another prime example of that right there. But, hey, we still have a race to finish here. And if I'm looking at this right, we're probably going to go green with 4 laps to go. And, buddy, hang on to your hat, because that's it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of how hard can either one of these guys drive their car comfortably. You're obviously going to be on the edge of control, but I think Justin Michael just has that much of a speed advantage, especially being out in clean air. He can drive his car hard enough to where I think he can push himself a larger gap here off of these restarts than what Sacco can catch up to him with.
I absolutely agree with you 100% on that. And I just, I get so nervous for these guys when we come to a late race shootout like this, man. I really do. It's just so nerve-wracking as a driver, and it's in the back of my head how many times I've been through this, so my anxiety is up for these guys. Oh, my goodness. But it looks like he's going to choose that outside line again there, Brad. It worked out really well for him that last restart.
Yeah, the biggest thing about the outside line here is you just have to have a really good jump off of these restarts. And if you don't get that jump, then you're really going to be struggling out into turn one. But the biggest advantage that that provides is it sets you a little bit outside of the peripheral of the driver underneath you. Not only that, but as long as you get a good jump and you clear the guy going into one, then you have the preference of lane going into turn one, meaning you can enter the corner the way that you want to try to expand that gap a little bit.
Absolutely. And I'm just, I'm really interested to see if the 29 has anything. I mean, if he can, he knows he's going to go pretty early. You have to know that, right? So I'm wondering if maybe the 29 might not try and play a game with him of his own,
Yeah, this final restart will be really interesting as they should be coming to take the 1 to green signal this time by from your iRacing head starter, but should be interesting as we'll come green with about 3 laps to go here of the race.
Yeah, this is it's going to be a 3-lap sprint, a fight. It's going to be a fight to the finish, man. You know it is. And did correct me if I'm wrong, but did the 55 get a black flag and an EOL?
I do not. I don't believe.
I mean,
so.
He's not in the position he was when all that happened.
Unless he pitted, I couldn't tell you. I don't have any visual on race control at this moment.
Okay, I wasn't real sure. I just know that there's some. No, go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say lights are out up on top of the iRacing official pace car, and these guys stacked up, doubled up, ready to go green for what we hope will be the final time of the night. And tell everybody it's time to get off your seat and on your feet. It's gonna be a doozy of a finish here as long as everybody drives hard, and hopefully we'll stay clean and green here. These guys are ready to rock and roll once again. Pace car going to be making its way down into the safety of the infield one more time. Your control car on your outside, Justin Michael, he's off and away. Green flag is back in the air.
Green flag is indeed back in the air, and he got another great start right there over the 29 of Sacco. He's going to take that lead down into 1 and 2 and hopefully stretch it out just a little bit more. He really wants to try and get as much room as himself and Sacco in that 29 car as he can before these tires get back up to heat. That's going to bring us around to 2 to go here, Brandon.
2 laps to go this time, and you can see Sacco's really trying his hardest, but he's not quite able to close that gap. It's just enough for him to stay back, just about 2/10 of a second back away from your race leader.
2 seconds away. It feels like 3 football fields at this point. But look, he did make some room up though right there. Last lap, final lap, CRN 1 to go.
Justin Michael hasn't led a whole lot of laps today, but he may end up leading the one that counts. We're going to see what Sacco does. He's not going to be able to get there. He tries his hardest. He drives it up the racetrack, but coming out of turn 4, your race winner here at Dover is going to be Justin Michael.
Wow, what a finish. What a finish.
Boy, oh boy, was it the patience game there all the way through until the very end, where a couple of late race cautions really amped things up, and Justin Michael proving that he didn't just have a long run car, he was able to make the short run work as well, and I think he's going to burn the house down here down on the front straightaway.
Oh, absolutely. He's deserved it. I mean, you said it, the patience game. It was amazing to watch him do his thing tonight. Fall back on both of those stage restarts. Let the cars go by that had to go by, and then just reeled everybody back in, made some passes, and was there at the end of the race to take the advantage of a mishap on Roll's behalf. And, man, just looking strong all night long.
So your race winner, Justin Michael, and yeah, he drove hard there and definitely going to burn it down. As we're going to take a look at your race results here, presented by LSRTV, and of course, He drove hard, everybody. Justin Michael going to be your race winner. Nicholas Sacco making his way up to second. And Nathan Mon going to be finishing in that third position. Good run for him. Jose Rivera managed to come back and finished fourth. Fifth is going to be Ryan Ducom. Sixth is going to be Jake Roll. Max Steck finishing in that seventh position. Nathan Roger finishing eighth. Derek Fulton going to be coming back to ninth. Tough break for him. And Adam Newberg going to be finishing in that 10th spot, John.
11th place is going to go to Dustin Scruggs in the 11th car. 12th to Raul Mason, the 37. Raul went for a heck of a ride on this race tonight. 13th, Derek Kilgore, also one that went for a wild ride tonight. 14th goes to Stephen Llewellyn. 15th to Hunter Parsons. And 16th to Ted Wade. I don't believe those last two guys even made a start tonight.
So those are your race results presented by LSR TV. I do believe we're going to cut away to a quick commercial break, gather up our drivers, and, well, we're going to catch our breath as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're watching NASRA on LSR TV. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody, to LSR TV, your home for sim racing since 2012. And we're back here with post-race interviews, and I believe John Mushin has caught up with your second and third place finishers.
I sure have. Let's go ahead and start this one off with Mr. Nathan. Is it Man or Mon? I always get this wrong, bud.
It's Mon.
All right, that's what I thought. As in Wrath of Khan, but Mon.
You got it.
The Wrath of Mon. We'll go with that.
I like it.
Hey, man, congrats on a third-place run. Dover, oh, my goodness, the Monster Mile. Talk to me about your third-place run tonight, Nathan.
Yeah, well, I didn't start things off the best. Kind of lackluster qualifying, clipped the wall at a 4 on second lap. So kind of had to fight my way through the pack. Tried to save tire best I could. Just really tough here at Dover, you know. And, you know, just tried to make up for my last run here where I ended up spinning out. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. I felt like everyone was, you know, giving each other a good amount of space and everything. So, I mean, you know, made for some fun racing, you know, on long runs.
So let me ask you, Nathan. This is your first impression of the new car at Dover. What'd you think?
I'm definitely a fan. I know Dover at any Dover with any car, it's really easy to overdrive it. It just feels like you can just mat it all the way around. Personally, I'm a fan of the new car. I didn't like it at first, like I feel like most people, but it's slowly grown on me and continues to grow on me. So yeah, I mean, I feel like Dover is really just easy to overdrive. It's always been hard to save tire, you know, at least for me. But I enjoyed it tonight. It was a good time.
Well, man, you made it look easy out there. Congratulations on that third place. Do you have anybody you want to thank for it?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. I'd like to thank my sponsor, W Energy. Be sure to use code SPEED to get 10% off on your next order. As always, I'd like to thank my friends and family for supporting back home in Wilmington. And yeah, I'd like to shout out RMS for having me on the team and you know, let me rep their team.
There you have it, folks. There's your third place finisher, Nathan the Wrath of Mon in the 21 car. I've also got Nick Sacco. Did I say that right, Nick?
Yeah, Sacco.
Nicky Sacco. Where are you from? You from Jersey by any chance? The Sacco jerseys?
Yeah, actually.
No, really?
Personally. Yeah, my family's all from Jersey, so I don't know if it's heard in the voice or if it's just the name.
No, I served in the Army with a guy from Jersey. I think his name was Matt Sacco. Not even joking, man.
That might be my cousin. I do have a Matthew Sacco that's my cousin, so there's a good chance.
If you ever talk to him, ask him if he remembers Tiny John from second of the 56, man, and
All right, man. Thank you, John.
out of Fort Pope. Anyway, let's get back to business, man. You finished second tonight. Man, it looked like you were might have had something for Justin towards the end there, but I guess you just didn't have enough laps after that last restart. Talk to me about your second place run.
Yeah, I definitely could have used a few more laps, but I don't think I had much for him. Being the second car in line for the first part of a run was pretty rough, but then in the long run, you actually wanted to be the second car in line. I learned that kind of the hard way.
Well, I mean, you guys, it was a little bit of a rough start with a couple of early cautions, but then you got your stage breaks in, and you had a chance to look at the tire wear. Did you at any point maybe think about trying a different line? Because it looked like you were pretty consistently using the low entry, drift up, low exit routine like most folks do.
Yeah, I think I could have switched it up a little bit. I think on the last run there, I overdrove the right rear. I was kind of running it easy in, hard off, and it worked out for me on the 40-lap runs, but once we got past 40 laps, I just couldn't hang on to it on the exit. So definitely could have tried something different, I think.
Yeah, the Monster Mile is known for eating up right rear tires, man. Well, it's known for eating up cars, too. But congratulations once again on second place run. Do you have anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, Eric Zimmerman put this whole thing on. He's been kind of my right-hand man through a lot of my leagues. So it's good to see him put this league on, and got to thank him for everything. So thanks, Eric, thebuddyproject.com, Old Park Computers, the whole deal.
All right, Nick, well, thank you so much for your time, my friend. You have a good evening, and Merry Christmas to you if we don't see you again.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
All right, folks, that's your second place driver, Nick Sacco from East Coast somewhere. And if I'm not mistaken, Brandon Kreutz has caught up with your race winner, Justin Michael.
Yeah, I'm down here in Victory Lane now, and your race winner here tonight at Dover, Justin Michael, and well, you got it done, man. How do you feel?
I tell you, man, it was awesome. I really like this track, and I don't know, just early on, I didn't think I had anything for anybody, and just the short runs were killing us, and that long run came along, and we were able to save some tires there at the first part. I noticed everybody else was getting loose, and I wasn't, so I figured that that's really going to help us, and I just kept riding and trying to save that right rear, and it really paid off in the end.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, we saw you drop back there a couple of times, and we figured you were trying to keep your stuff cool and keep your tires together. We know this concrete likes to eat away at the rubber, and we got to talk about those last couple of restarts, man. You were the first person we saw take the outside there. What was the strategy going into that?
The outside always has better restarts here. I guess there's some bumps on the bottom, and you can get some wheel spin. There's just a lot more grip up there to start with. I was very surprised nobody else took the outside the entire time. Even when I was starting second, I was getting really good runs, and usually that doesn't happen for me. So it's just from experience and racing here a lot, just the outside's a lot better.
Well, congratulations. You've defeated Miles the Monster here tonight at his own turf. Is there anybody that you want to thank or shout out to?
Just everybody out there watching. Hopefully it was a good show, and everybody for putting on this league, and Scott out there from Patent and Paints for painting this car for me. He does a really good job, so if anybody needs any cars, go out there and give him a shout out.
Awesome job. Congratulations once again, and thank you for talking with us.
Thanks, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's your race winner here tonight, Justin Michael. And, well, we wrap up. John, any final closing thoughts here before we wrap up the broadcast?
Man, this track never disappoints. It's Dover, it's the Monster Mile, and it's always an exciting run. I love being in the booth with you guys. It's always a pleasure. And before I sign off, I just want to take a moment to say that I am thinking and praying hard for all those folks that were affected by the devastating series of tornadoes that hit the Midwest and north areas, north of me. Praying for all you folks out there. Just hang in there, and it'll work itself out.
Absolutely. And, well, folks, some awesome racing that we saw all around tonight, and I think it's time to close this thing out. Remember, you got one more broadcast here tonight, live at LSRTV. But from everybody, we'd like to thank you for tuning into LSRTV. For myself, Brandon Kreutz, John Mushton, Charles Wooten down in the